In the heart of a moonlit night, when shadows danced and whispers echoed through the desolate roads, a lone driver named Mark embarked on a solitary journey. The pale glow of his headlights cut through the darkness, illuminating the desolate road ahead. The wind howled, a lonesome symphony accompanying him. As Mark drove deeper into the night, he noticed a figure standing on the side of the road, silhouetted against the dim glow of his headlights. It was a hitchhiker, their thumb outstretched, seeking passage in the quiet night. Mark, ever the kind-hearted soul, decided to stop and offer them a ride. The hitchhiker climbed into the back seat, offering a polite smile. He was a young man with a friendly demeanor, his face obscured by the shadows. Mark greeted him warmly, engaging in light conversation to ease the otherwise eerie silence of the night. "So, where are you headed?" Mark asked, trying to keep the conversation casual. "Just a few miles ahead to the next town," the hitchhiker replied. As they drove, Mark felt a growing unease. The hitchhiker's replies were terse, and he seemed oddly detached. Mark noticed he never fully turned to face him, keeping his features in the shadows. Minutes turned into an hour, and Mark's nervousness intensified. He tried to shake off the feeling, reminding himself of the desolate road and the odd nature of late-night encounters. Eventually, the hitchhiker began speaking in a low, haunting whisper. "You shouldn't have stopped for me," he said, the words dripping with menace. Startled, Mark glanced at him through the rearview mirror, only to find hollow, glowing eyes staring back at him. Fear gripped his heart, but he managed to stammer, "Well, what do you mean?" The hitchhiker's form began to distort, contorting and shifting into a grotesque, ghostly figure. Mark's grip on the steering wheel tightened as he realized he had picked up something far more sinister than a mere traveler. The phantom revealed its true nature, a vengeful spirit trapped between the realms of the living and the dead. It had fooled Mark into granting it passage, and now it sought revenge for an unspeakable wrong. Terrifying events unfolded within the confined space of the car. The spirit's ghostly hands clawed at the seats, its face contorted with malice. It howled in a ghastly, otherworldly shriek that pierced the stillness of the night. The car's windows frosted over, and a bone-chilling coldness filled the air. Mark, gripped by paralyzing fear, knew he had to escape the clutches of this malevolent being. He tried to reason with the spirit, begging for his life and promising to help it find peace, but it only laughed wickedly. Driven by desperation, Mark accelerated the car, hoping to shake off the ghostly passenger. But the spirit seemed to be an inescapable phantom, haunting the very essence of the car. As the car raced down the desolate road, Mark spotted an old, dilapidated church in the distance. An idea formed in his mind, a desperate attempt to rid himself of this vengeful entity. He pushed the car to its limits, speeding towards the church. Reaching the church, he skidded to a halt in the old graveyard. Mark leaped out of the car, the spirit's chilling laughter ringing in his ears. He knew he had to act quickly. With trembling hands, he found an old, rusted bell. He had read about ancient rituals that could bind spirits to specific locations. He began to ring the bell, reciting incantations that were his only hope. The spirit, now enraged, lunged at Mark. It clawed at his flesh, but he fought back with all his strength. He chanted the incantations louder, the bell's toll growing more resounding. In a final surge of strength, Mark completed the ritual just as the spirit lunged at him. A blinding flash of light enveloped the graveyard, and an ear-piercing scream filled the air. When the light subsided, the spirit was gone. Exhausted and battered, Mark collapsed to the ground, grateful for his survival. Dawn broke, and the morning sun chased away the remnants of the night's horrors. He never spoke of that night, knowing that some tales are better left untold. The haunted road and the old church remained as a chilling reminder of the terrifying encounter, a testament to the thin veil that separates the living from the vengeful spirits that linger in the shadows.